Hello, welcome to Beachview, our podcast where we talk about all sorts of things and stuff.
Yep, and today we're talking about High School Musical, which is a
Yes.
2006 made-for-TV Disney movie that's a musical.
Yes. So, we went back to watch this because I had never seen it before. Had you seen it?
Yes, I mean, I don't know why you would have seen it, but
Well, I mean, surprisingly, I think I've talked about before, like I have, a couple friends who are like real Disney people and they like love High School Musical and I've heard them talk about it, but I've never took the time to watch it. So, yeah, I don't think I was like of the age that
no,
I would have sat and watched it then, but some of my friends had, so I mean, it's not like outside of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, for me, this was like I don't know if classic's the right word, but it was definitely popular when I was a kid. So,
Yeah. I feel like it's probably a classic. Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't know, like, what the reception's been in the past, 15 plus years.
Well, I've heard a lot of like references to it and I've kind of like never really been interested in watching it, but for some reason we were like talking about it recently and it was like, I've never seen that. Like I think it's time to go watch it finally.
Yeah.
So, almost 20 years later. Which is kind of crazy. That's almost 20 years later since High
Yep.
School Musical. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe I was thinking about it because I was recently watching a show on Netflix with Zac Efron, and maybe that's what kind of like spawned it. Yeah. So,
Do you have any broad thoughts up top? Do you like it? Do you hate it?
I didn't hate it. I didn't love it either. But I will say, like, I started watching it and I actually like fell asleep during it, which is
no.
yeah, which is pretty unusual. Maybe I was just tired or maybe I was bored. I'm not sure. But no, it was I think like at first I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is like so cheesy." And look,
Oh
I don't
yeah.
mind cheese, okay? Like I in recent years started watching like those kind of Hallmarky like
Oh,
Christmas
okay.
movies
Yeah.
on Netflix and
Yeah.
stuff. Like, I don't mind cheesy movies. Like, I think some cheesy movies are like really cute and I appreciate them for what they are, But when I first started watching High School Musical, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cheesy. Like, I don't know if I can get through this. But by the time I finished it, I was like, okay, like, I definitely see how it was popular. And I think for what it is, like a cheesy High School Musical, like I think it hit the mark. And considering, like, I took into consideration that this is like Disney fandom kind of, I think it was hugely popular. Well, because it still fit that Disney formula,
Yeah.
But it was like for kids, for teens at the
Like, I think
time.
this is probably younger than, like, a
Yeah,
high
like
school
tweens.
audience.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like
the
12 year
yeah.
olds.
Yes, like between being a kid and being a teen, definitely the tweens. I think like this was like they probably loved it. But I thought it was like for what it was, like it hit the mark. Was it my favorite? No, but it wasn't terrible either. Like, I mean, it is what it is kind of thing. What did you think?
Yeah, so I was surprised. Like, I don't like musicals, and I went into this thinking, oh, it's gonna, like, there's no way this holds up in any sense of that
Yeah.
word. But, like, it's actually decent. I'm not, like, a
It is.
fan of most of the songs, but I don't like
Yeah.
musical style, and I think it falls apart in the back half, but I was surprised by, like, how funny it is and how much it, like, works on a basic level.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Like they had some kind of comedy, but it wasn't like overt or like over anybody's heads. Like I think for the audience it was like the perfect, kind of comedy. And I mean, I thought it was a cute movie. Like you come away from it thinking like, "Oh, that's cute." That for me was what it was, but I was surprised that at first it's kind of like super stereotypical. Like you got the jock, you got the nerd, and then I was kind of like, oh my goodness, like this is so goofy. But then like once it got into the plot, I was like, okay, it's actually kind of cute. Like I like how everybody comes together. Like the messages it conveys are all like, positive at the end, So I was like, I get it. I came away from it thinking like, there was some kind of funny parts in there. It was a cute movie.
Oh, I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I thought there was some really good comedy bits. I was laughing a lot at it. And I was surprised by that.
Yeah, I was very surprised by that because I thought it was just going to be cheese all the way,
Yeah. But yeah, you want to get into the plot synopsis now?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Sure, okay. Well, I guess I'll do it.
I always depend on you. Yeah.
So, High School Musical, we start at a New Year's Eve party where, Gabriella is reading and not, like, hanging out with people at a party, and her mom comes and gets her to go to the party or whatever. Get the sense that she's bookish and not, socially awkward, and she's our first protagonist, and then we have our second protagonist who's busy, playing basketball with his dad, and his mom comes and gets him and says, you gotta go to the party. And that's Troy, and you get the sense that he's a jock, he cares about sports and not, doesn't focus too much on other things. And they get together and end up being forced into singing a karaoke.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
That was the initial part where I was like, what? Like, who gets forced into singing karaoke? But okay.
It feels like the writers were just kind of like, we gotta find some way to get these two to sing a song to start the movie.
Like the opening scene where they're at this like ski chalet, basically. Yeah. I'm just like, what? This is so random.
It's a New Year's party.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so, and the song they sing is the start of something new, which, when these songs come up, I'm going to mention them and we're going to talk about them.
Okay.
As part of the plot synopsis. So what'd you think of this one?
I didn't like it that much.
Yeah.
And I was going like, is this supposed to be like a song that everybody knows? Like, because they both immediately just start singing it. Now, I know it's like a movie, but,
that's like a Disney thing. Like, these sorts of musicals will, like, have songs that are meant to be popular songs, but like obviously they're original songs, so
that's kind of what I thought. Like it was just like one of those, movie magic moments. But
yeah, you just kind of gotta go with it.
Yeah, and I mean the song was just okay for me. It had its intended effect because I was surprised when they started singing, and I was like, oh, they both kind of have, which obviously I knew they would have voices, but. Because it's a musical, but it just surprised me because, I knew Vanessa Hudgens could sing, but I didn't know that Zac Efron could sing.
Yeah, so that's them. I thought I didn't like it much either, and I thought the scene was very awkward, like,
It was very awkward, yeah.
Which is intentional, but I'm just sitting
it's meant to
be,
yeah. Yes.
So anyways, they finish singing, and they're like, hey, that was really fun. And they have, like, chemistry or whatever, and they're, like, putting each other in their phones, their old 2006 flip phones, which,
That was, like, my first, like, real note. I was like, oh my gosh, the phones! I love it. Yeah. Hers was so clunky looking. I was like, is that supposed to be an old school BlackBerry? Like, I don't even know.
Something like that, right?
Yes, it's very funny.
I just know that's something we bring up every time old phones come up on this podcast, but yeah.
Yeah. I love old phones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they get separated, and he doesn't know, like, they don't know if they're going to see each other again. We fast forward, however long, and they're at school, which is East High in Albuquerque. Side note, this isn't relevant, but you might notice, Breaking Bad also takes place in Albuquerque in a high school, so people have made jokes about that, and they came out around the same time.
I was going to say, like, Albuquerque was, like, the most random to me. Like, I don't know why. I was just like, really? Albuquerque? Like,
you gotta
so
pick
weird.
a city. I don't know.
Yeah.
I looked on the credits, and it was filmed in Utah, so I think maybe that's, like, well, we're filming in Utah. Albuquerque's close enough in appearance, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I just thought that was funny. I was like, okay, Albuquerque.
Is there something going on in that era? Because that's what Breaking Bad was
Yeah,
set
Albuquerque was like on the map during that time, apparently. I don't know what happened. Like, is Albuquerque still popular? We should go try it out.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, so they start school and Gabriella's just transferred in because her mom's company moved there and she's all nervous and she doesn't want to be known as just like the smart kid again because she's good at school. And Troy's there hanging out with all his basketball friends. And they have the same homeroom and they notice each other and they're like, is that the person from the New Year's party?
Yeah.
And there are like a bunch of people looking at their phones, including his friend Chad is a basketball player, so another main character, and Sharpay, who is also a main character, involved in the drama club. And the teacher gets on to all of them for having their phones out and gives them detention. And she's the drama teacher. I don't remember her name.
I don't remember her name either.
But yes, she's very over the top. I think she says festival every time instead of festival.
Music hall.
Yeah, that kind of affectation in a character.
Yes.
So they get sent to detention, and the coach is mad because it's practice time.
And the coach is also Zac Efron's dad, by the way, Troy's dad.
Oh, hold up, I missed something.
Oh.
So Troy and Gabriella, bell rings, Troy and Gabriella leave, and they're talking, catching up, and they run into the sign-up sheet for the play they're putting on, or musical, or whatever it is they're putting on.
Musical.
For the drama club. And they're kind of sitting there like, should we sign up for this? And that's like sort of the start of what the plot's going to be, the main
the start of something
conflict.
new, would you say?
No. But yeah, that's the main conflict. And then we go to detention, and yeah, so Troy's dad is his basketball coach, and because two of his best players aren't there, he goes and gets them from detention. And they have like a long-standing rivalry, the basketball coach and the drama teacher.
Which I thought was funny.
Yeah, and so then we go to practice, and that is when Get Your Head in the Game plays. So what'd you think of this song?
I liked it. At first I was like, this is so goofy.
Yeah.
But once you get past, like, when you're like, this is a high school musical, like, for tweens, like, whenever you think of it that way, you're like, okay, it's kind of cute. I like the basketball, like, choreography. It kind of reminded me of, like, the Harlem Globetrotters kind of style. You know what I mean? Like, that's probably the only reason I actually like the song.
Oh, see, I thought that was so goofy. I was sitting there, like, there's a part where they just do the, like, instruments and they're dancing and there's no lyrics, and I'm sitting there like...
Oh, it's super goofy,
what?
Like, don't get me wrong, but, like, as musicals go, I was like, well, I kind of like how they, like, incorporated the basketball stuff.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, like, all of these songs are very 2006, but this is, like...
Yeah.
It feels like they were trying to take, like, 2006, like, R&B or something and water it down with musical, stylings.
Yeah, definitely, like, an odd, I don't even know which genre that would be, but, like, yeah, it's, I think they tried.
But yeah, a clear thing, it's about getting your head in the game, they gotta be ready for, and focused on the game, and, Troy is all like, he's the team captain, he's the leader, and he's all like, my head's in the game, but my heart's in the song, He's interested in Gabriella, and he wants to sing, not just do basketball, which is his, character conflict.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh god, I really should have written this out. I don't remember what happens next.
Alright, after the Get Your Head in the Game song... Let's see.
Right, so, okay, so at some point, wow, this is gonna be a total mess. But while they were looking at, the sign-up sheets, Sharpay was getting kind of suspicious, and so she's thinking, what if we get Gabriella in with the nerd interests? So she contacts Taylor, the character who is the head of the science club, and tells her to, like, get her involved in the science club. So she's not a potential threat for the audition, which is coming up. And then I think after that they go to the audition, like after the Get Your Head in the Game.
Yeah, I think they do the audition.
Oh, by the way, I thought the shot at the end of Get Your Head in the Game was decent composition. You know, they all run out, the team runs out, and then it's him last, and they have the ball, like, sort of bouncing. I thought that was, for a high school musical, I thought that was a good composition. Just wanted to point that out.
I thought so, too. I like that, yeah.
Yeah, now they have the audition, which Troy sneaks into because he doesn't want, like, his basketball friends to know he's interested in musical stuff.
It's like he's still a little embarrassed that he's even, like, interested. Yeah. He's kind of, like, coming to terms that, like, he really enjoyed singing, and he doesn't want, like, the jocks to know. Mm-hmm. And it's also worth noting that, like, Ashley Tisdale's character Sharpay and her brother Ryan, I think.
Yes.
That they are usually the stars of every musical, yes. Like, since kindergarten. And so they think they're just, like, a shoo-in. And, of course, they're, like, over-the-top drama kids, you know?
Yes, and she's a total diva. I should have mentioned that. Like, that's her character.
Yes, total diva. Yeah, and the brother's kind of just, like, along for the ride. And, yeah, so they are, like, they did their little audition, and they felt like they rocked it.
Well, hold on. The audition's long. Like, this is a whole, like, comedy section that this is, like...
Yes.
They have several points, and I thought this was, like, unnecessary. Like, I get that's, like, a comedy thing in, like, shows like this or movies like this, right? You have the, like, awkward auditions, and this is, like, during big-time American Idol era and stuff like that, but still, like, this was, like, a really long segment that did not need to be that long.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, as you were saying, so they do their audition, which, the song What I've Been Looking For, which there are two versions of. There's some tension there with the, composer character, don't remember her name, who's, writing the show.
Mm-hmm.
And she, like, they go up and she's like, what key do you want it to be in? And, Sharpay's like, oh, we had our own, pianist do an arrangement. So they do their arrangement, and then, like, after they go up and, Gabriella shows up at some point, and they're talking, Gabriella and Troy are talking, and they're like, do you want to do this audition or not? And they're like, yeah, let's do it. And it's like, after the final call, the drama teacher's like, okay, last call, nobody else, okay, I guess we're done. And so she's like, after that, they go up, and they're like, we'll do it. And she's like, nope, you're too late. But then they go up and decide to start singing anyways because the composer's like, oh, do you want to see how the real version sounds instead of their version?
Yeah.
And they do the real version, they sing together. What do you think of these songs and the two different versions?
Well, obviously, like, the kind of comedic part was when Sharpay and her brother are like, we don't care what the composer meant this to sound like. This is what we think it should sound like.
Yeah.
So total disregard for, like, the integrity of the actual, musical. So that's, like, a funny kind of thing. And it's, like, a lot more, like, poppy and, like, just over the top. So obviously,
like,
call it
over the top, but
no, you don't think? Okay, I guess for what, like, it's meant to be, like, according to the composer, right?
Yeah, so that's what they've set up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the setup. So, of course I thought the real, quote, real piece, was better than, Sharpay's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was better than Sharpay's version.
Is there a reason?
I think it's just because that's how the movie's set up, like, cause I'm like, this is what the composer wanted,
Yeah.
That's really the only reason, and I guess cause, like, Sharpay and Ryan are all just, like, super goofy, that you just automatically get that, like, goofy kind of feel for what they're doing. You're just like kind of eye roll, Yeah.
I really like Sharpay in this movie. I think Ashley Tisdale's doing
She's
a great
very
job
funny.
with the role.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, she definitely did. Like, she definitely played it really well. Yeah, I enjoyed that part. But yeah, I like the other version better just because, like I said, I think it's like how it's set up, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I like the Sharpay version better because to me it sounds like the closest song in this movie to an actual pop song that would have played in
Yeah.
2006. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
this sounds like I'm not gonna write you a love song or something like that. That like piano poppy sort of
Yes,
deal.
yes.
Like, and I like that sound generally, and I like that better than the real version because that just sounds like a boring soft ballad, you know.
Yeah, I can see that too. Yeah, definitely. But it's so cute that they like, you know, finally come together and like audition for this when they're both like real nervous about it.
Yeah. Yeah, they do that, and the drama teacher was secretly listening and comes out and says, you know what, you have a call back, you know, so they make it to the next round of auditions, and then, so this gets spread around, this information starts going around, and everybody, like, you know, Sharpay's obviously upset, because that means she has competition, and the basketball people are upset, because, they don't want the championship's upcoming and they don't want their team captain to be not focused. And this also apparently starts leading other people to start, you know, breaking the status quo and not being in their set clicks and rolls and whatnot, which they go to lunch and there's a song about this called Stick to the Status Quo.
Yes.
Which, what'd you think about this song?
I thought the song was actually funny because you're like, don't be yourself, just stick to the status quo. Like, it's like the super opposite of like, you know, any advice that you've ever heard, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I thought it was kind of funny. I thought it was also funny that like, I forget how it was like kind of set up, but like there's like one move that like one of the girls does, like, you know, they're about to get into a song. You know, like like body language, like you're like, uh-oh, a song's coming, you know. So that's always funny to me. But I mean, I thought the song was fine. I just like the message of it was funny to me. The composition of it was I mean, it was okay. Like, it's all right. What'd you think?
Yeah, I don't like this as a song, but I think it works really well for the movie.
Yeah.
Just because, like, you know, this is like a chorus sort of piece for the, like, you know, to my understanding, this is what musicals do, right? Put your like plot and your big conflict moments in a song, and I think it works really well like that, and I think it's really funny.
Yes.
I think, you know, they do this bit 3 times, but where one of the like people at their lunch tables comes up, it's like, I have a secret, and they're like, oh, tell us, and then they tell them the secret.
Yeah.
And they say, no, shut up. I think that's funny every time.
I think that was really funny, because this one kid's like, oh, I like to bake. Like, he's one of the jocks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I love when people have, like, these interests that they're passionate about, you know? And it's funny. They're like, don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
They're like, be quiet. Get back in your lane, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny.
And then I thought the bit, so they break up the song for a second, and Gabriella comes in, and she's like, oh, why is everybody, like, staring at me? I can't handle that. And she's getting nervous, and then they suddenly break into a key change for the last chorus. And I thought that, like, timing was hilarious.
Wait, there's another point that was funny. There's another point, so one of the girls that is telling her secret, she says, like, she really loves hip hop, and one of the other kids is like, is that legal? Like, it was just like, I was like, what? It was so funny. Like, I was just like, okay, like, that was one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, no, it's a very funny song.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then at the end, Sharpay accidentally gets milk dumped on her.
Yeah. It's gross.
Let's see. Yeah, so then, after this happens, Taylor, who's the science club president, and Chad, who is the basketball friend, they decide they're gonna hatch a plan to get them to stop, being in the musical and go back to their lanes, like the song said. So they come up with a plan, and Yeah, so what happens is, wait, hold on, no, there's another scene, right?
Uh,
In between these?
I feel like there is.
Yeah, so they go up to a rooftop garden
Oh yeah,
and have some of the most awkward dialogue that I've seen written.
that was.
I thought it was really
Yes.
bad, and they could have just, like, I don't know, cut this whole scene.
I thought that was pretty awkward myself. Like I was just like, what is that?
Yeah, it's Troy and Gabriella talking and about how, like, how hard it is with their friends and stuff, and, like, how they like being able to not just be set, like, pigeonholed into one area. Yeah, then there is, the two, come up with a plan. So, their plan is they're gonna, stage an intervention, basically, with Troy and covertly film him, so that,
Pretty brilliant, I thought.
and then the science club's gonna have Gabriella. They give her a whole spiel about how she shouldn't hang out with jocks, and at the end they show them the video, and they're like laying it on pretty thick. It's like, you got to be focused on the game, like the legends of East High basketball. They weren't singing and doing musicals,
Yeah.
and you got to be like them to win the championship. And he's like. Troy's like, okay, this doesn't mean anything to me. The game's the most important part.
Yeah, he's basically trying to save face, like, in front of the guys.
Yeah.
In front of his team. Like, my head is in the game. Like, the singing is nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Gabriella's nothing. And then, she sees this because they're being covertly filmed, and she's very upset.
She cries. A tear slides down her face.
Yeah.
Very dramatic
and
fashion.
Troy tries to find her, but she's like, no, we're not doing the thing anymore. I'm going to join the science club and do their science event.
And he doesn't understand why, because he doesn't know that
Yes.
he was filmed and she saw it.
And then she has a solo song, When There Was Me and You. What'd you think of this one?
I liked it. I liked how dramatic it was. Because it's such a Disney formula. Like,
yes,
even like the dance move, like the choreography is so Disney that I just thought, like, I was like, oh, that's cute. Like, sometimes when I talk about like the Disney formula, I'm just like rolling my eyes.
Yeah.
But other times I'm like, it's cute for kids, like, But I actually kind of liked it. It was just like her choreography was like so dramatic, which I mean is normal for a musical. I thought it was a cute, like, kind of like a sweet song.
Yeah, I mean, the song's fine or whatever. It's not my thing, but I didn't dislike it. I didn't like the choreography.
Well, that's what I thought was, like, really funny, because it's, like, it's just so goofy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, like, over the top kind of, like, yeah. But like I said, it's normal for a musical, so.
Yeah, I think the main problem is the cinematography here.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was just atrocious. Like, some of the shots and the decisions for where to shoot were just really bad, and I was like the whole time looking at it confused. I don't know. Like, it felt like they didn't know what to do when it was just a single person and not like a whole group of people doing a choreography together, and it just did not work.
It's like she's like walking down the stairs and like pausing at the railing, and like, kind of goofy.
I don't know. Either way, next is them being all upset, and everything seems normal, but, like, Troy's not performing as well, and, like, Gabriella's all kinda, like, out of it, too, and then they both decide, oh, we messed up, and they come clean with what they did, both the basketball team and the science club. They're like, we messed up, but Gabriella's like, no, I heard what he said.
Mm-hmm.
It's still, I'm still not doing it with him. I'm still doing the science club thing.
Like, you might have manipulated it, but this is what he said, and it still hurt my feelings.
Yeah. So then, he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go try to make this right. He goes and knocks on her door, and she doesn't want to come because her mom answers the door. And then he goes out in her backyard, and climbs up her balcony and calls her. He's like, I have a surprise, and he came up her balcony, which I thought was creepy.
Wait, I thought the same thing, because he was like, turn around. And I was like, ew, you freaking stalker.
Like, I know that's like a very stereotypical scene in these sorts of, high romance movies and stuff.
It is, but it's in this day and age, it's creepy because you're like, no
I
means
think it was
no.
creepy back then.
Yeah, I think, yes. Yeah, but like definitely in today's context, you're like, she said she didn't want to see you. Why are you like pushing it, you know?
Yeah, and then I think like because there's a balcony there, they're trying to like mirror Romeo and Juliet.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, definitely you saw what they were doing. And I mean, it was sweet, but like that part was creepy. Like he could have like stayed downstairs and like yelled at her window or something. Or like, you know, the old like throw a rock at the window, you know?
Yeah, but that's just like part of the thing for these.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
So then now they're made up and they're like, we're gonna focus on our our science club and basketball thing, but we're also gonna do the song too. And everything's perfect except Sharpay decides she's gonna sabotage them because both of their things happen on a Friday. And she's like, well, what if we move the audition to a Friday so they can't show up?
Yeah, and you just knew that was going to happen, right? Like, you knew that, like, there's going to be basketball keeping him and the academic decathlon keeping her, like, from doing the audition. And it's like, you know that, like from the get-go, like, you know those things are going to keep them from going to the audition, but they're somehow going to find a way.
Right, yeah, so they hatch a plan, all of them together, and so the moment happens. I thought it was really funny that their like titles were like it was like day of the basketball championship, day of the academic decathlon, day of the auditions, and it said help. I thought that was
that
cute.
was cute. Yeah.
But then we have the basketball starts, the academic thing starts, and we have Sharpay and Ryan doing a song, Bop to the Top. What did you think of this one?
I did not like that song. I thought it was like just super goofy. I mean, it was a catchy little like thing, but I thought it was just like too much.
Yeah, not my favorite either.
I mean, it was like definitely in character for them.
Yes.
So it was funny, but yeah.
Right, so that happens, and then their plan comes together. So they finish like the first event of the decathlon or whatever, and then they start their thing. So the science people have hacked the mainframe.
I thought that was again brilliant. I thought like that whole scheme was pretty brilliant.
Yeah, and they shut down the clock and make that go out. So they was like, okay, everybody has to evacuate for safety purposes while we work on this. And then they, like, cause, through chemicals, like, gas to pour out, so they have to evacuate the science room.
At the science room, yeah.
Which means they have just enough time to come in and perform their song for the audition, which is the next song, Breaking Free. What'd you think of this?
I thought it was fine. I mean, I thought it was a cute little song. Like, I wasn't in love with any of the songs in the movie, but I mean, I thought, again, for what it was a cute song.
Yeah, this is fine. I don't really have any opinions on it either.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But yeah, so, they, finish the audition. She's nervous at first, but she, like, is into it, whatever. And, it all goes well. They go back to their respective things. They win the championship. And everybody's happy and everything's good. They get the part.
Well, what I thought was cute, I don't want to, dismiss this little thing. So while they're doing the callback, like, they finally make it there. And even though they're late, they let them do it. The whole, like, school pours in to the room to, like, watch them. And so Gabriella gets, like, real nervous because, like, the whole school is there. But I thought it was cute that, like, the whole school came to cheer them on, you know? And that was really nice. But, of course, Gabriella was nervous, but she got through it. And it was just like a cute little thing.
Yep, and then we have the ending song where the whole school comes together and sings We're All in This Together. What'd you think of this song?
I thought it was cute. I mean, it was like, again, one of those, like, it's cute for what it is.
Yeah, I did not like this song or this scene.
Yeah.
It's just this whole, like, long dance breakdown. I get why someone might like this, but it's just not something I at all care about.
I didn't mind. I didn't mind the last, like, because they're all dancing together. Like, you know, they have like multiple like partners, and they swing around and are in each other's arms. You know what I mean? Like, Troy and Gabriella. So it's like a cute little. I mean, I don't mind that. I thought it was cute. I think the dance moves were like kind of goofy. But again, it's a musical and it's a Disney musical, so it was kind of one of those things. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, it was cute. I didn't mind it.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's High School Musical.
So I will say right off the bat, like, I was kind of surprised because I knew like who Zac Efron was, and I've known his like more recent things, especially like I said, I was watching that show Down to Earth, where I mean he looks totally different than he used to. But I was really surprised because I had read that Zac Efron was 18 and Vanessa Hudgens was 17 when they filmed this movie. And as like an 18-year-old, I thought like Zac Efron was like still like in his kind of like awkward teen stage. And it just kind of surprised me.
Well, I'm sure they did a lot of work with hair and makeup and stuff for that.
Yeah, I'm sure they did, but I was just surprised at how small he was, only because now he's like this big guy, you know. And obviously, I mean, he's put a ton of work into his physique now, but like I don't know why, like I was surprised, like he looked like he was like 15, you know. So, which I mean, that was the intended effect.
Yeah.
But he was like a little bit awkward, like teenage awkward, you know. And it just surprised me because like, you know, he was a star. So I just was expecting, I guess, to see, you know, but again, this was 2006 and I didn't, you know, that wasn't on my radar in 2006. Yeah. So I never saw it and didn't know what he was like in 2006. But anyway, I just was surprised by like the teenage awkwardness that he had, like that, you know, and Vanessa Hudgens, I think, you know, she kind of still seems the way that she was in this, you know, show. But that she didn't surprise me, but Zac Efron did.
Yeah. So let's see. Random thoughts I had. So you know, like I said in the plot synopsis, Sharpay I thought did a really good job. Ashley Tisdale as Sharpay.
Yeah.
Like I said, I thought it was funny at multiple points. Which again I was surprised at going into it.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it falls apart in the back half, which I said at the top. But like, I feel like there's a lot of time spent early in the movie. Like the pacing's a bit slower. And then, like, by the time you get to the middle point, they just speed through the, like, breakup and remaking up, like, scenes, which feel like...
Yeah.
It feels like if you're gonna do a romance, you have to do that.
Like, the pacing was, I thought, a little bit odd, yeah.
Yeah, and, I just... Like, they speed through that, and I don't know, I didn't care for the, like, way they did it either.
The first part of the movie I thought was too slow.
Yeah,
like,
I was just that, like, definitely.
Like, okay, let's speed it up. So, like, I prefer the back part of the movie, but I definitely see what you're saying about it just wasn't really congruent with the first part.
There's a much slower pacing in it. Like, there's a whole subplot of the coach, you know, Troy's dad and the drama teacher, like, bickering constantly and them having a long-standing rivalry that just gets totally dropped by the end.
Yes, I thought, like, by the end they would be, like, great friends or something, you know what I mean? But yeah, that did get totally dropped, which I kind of was disappointed because that was part of the funny, you know, cliched part of it, you know?
But yeah, musically, you know, not my thing. Again, like I said, like, these all sound like take some very 2006 songs and then just, like, water them down with musical stylings.
Make them Disney, yeah.
Yeah, Disney musical stylings specifically, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the songs weren't my favorite. I thought, like, the whole film, despite the plot, despite all the cliched things and the stereotypes and all that, like, I thought, you know, overall, like, obviously positive messages, you know, wasn't my favorite movie. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen other Disney movies that I like better. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but but for what it was, I think it was good. Like, I can see the allure of it. I am very surprised at how popular it got, though.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I never would have guessed, like, something like this would be that popular. But I think you had, again, the Disney winning formula. You know, you had Zac Efron, Vanessa Hudgens as the leads, plus Ashley Tisdale. I don't know the name of the actress that played Taylor, but I thought she did a great job, and I thought the composer girl did a great job, like, for her character, you know, and in the end, she kind of is, like, out of her little shell, you know, like, so I thought there were some cute, like, kind of subplot lines with those characters that I thought they did a really good job. And of course, like, the basketball kids, you know, they did a good job. So I thought everybody, you know, I thought the characters, I liked how they all, you know, kind of grew throughout the course of the movie. But as far as, like, overall, like, would I watch it again? Probably not,
Yeah.
no. But it was cute. I'm glad I finally watched it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I like, cause this was also like a Disney made-for-TV sort of thing, so it is surprising that like blew up like it did, because usually made-for-TV, that's like the kind of stuff you shovel out for kids to like watch on TV reruns, you know? It's not like
Yes.
something you're expecting to be like a big cultural phenomenon.
Right. That's why I'm very surprised, you know, that it got as popular as it was. Not just for kids at the time, but like I said, like, a couple of my friends, like, loved High School Musical. But, you know, it's that musicals, like, I hate to say it, but they're, like, not really my thing.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, and the only reason I hate to say it is because I know, like, a couple people who absolutely love them, like, and I just don't, like, they're not really my thing, which they don't have to be, but I just was very surprised that, like, people my age, like, absolutely love this, when, like I said, this was not even on my radar, like, when it came out, like, I didn't even know it was out, like, I didn't, you know, I heard about it over the years, but I've never seen it, you know, so I was just surprised that, like, the, you know, broad age groups that actually watched it and loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, because this was really popular. I mean, it spawned 2 sequels, you know.
Yeah.
One of which was in theaters, not a made-for-TV movie. So.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, no, because I didn't watch that one.
No. Did you watch the other one?
Yeah, the second one, yeah, that's also made for TV. I mean, sometimes when you are a child, you just watch stuff on the television.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because it's something to watch, you know?
Wait, I still do that every now and then. I'm like, oh, this is on, we'll watch that. Yeah, absolutely. Well, now that I have a login to Disney Plus, I'm gonna, like, go discover some other stuff. I'm not, like, a huge Disney person, but I mean, there's a lot of movies and stuff that, like, I didn't even know were Disney, or that Disney, like, bought the rights for, you know what I mean? So, I'm gonna go check out what else is on Disney Plus.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's your taste of Disney there, so.
I know, yeah. And as a person who thinks Disney is way overrated, I don't understand the allure. I was just talking yesterday with a coworker, because she was saying, like, her sister is, like, she calls her a Disney adult.
Yes, that's the term.
Yes, and I was just laughing because I'm like, I do not like Disney. I don't like Disney World. Like, I'm just not a Disney person. And my coworker was like, well, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I love Disney World, but, you know, like, they're about to go on a trip to Disney World, and they're adults, you know, and I know several adults who are, like, what I call Disney freaks that just are absolutely, you know, love all things Disney. I don't get that at all. But having said that, you know, like I said, their kids stuff, I think, is obviously on point because it's, like, hugely successful, but it's stuff that, like, High School Musical, we're just watching almost 20 years later, you know, well, I'm just watching almost 20 years later. It's stuff that, like, sticks around, you know, so, I mean, whatever they're doing it right, I guess.
Yeah, so, I guess that's everything?
Yeah, that's it.
Alright, well, that's been our podcast, Beach View. Thanks for watching and tune in next time. Bye!
Bye!